Hey all, it's your girl Fee, bringing you authentic conversation to feed your soul and make you whole. Welcome to a little of this and a little of that. So what is this all about? It's about real talk, real stories, and real growth. It creates an open space for honest conversations. Wherever you're tuning in from, thank you. Hey all, it's your girl Fee, bringing you authentic conversation to feed your soul and make you whole. Welcome to another episode of A Little of This and A Little of That. In these next episodes, as you can see, I'm really just answering your questions. I love them. I love the questions, and I think I'm loving this part of it the most because it makes me reflect. It's not easy to answer the questions that you guys are asking, but it makes me know that you're thinking, you're really listening, and that the podcast is being impactful. So you've been asking me about where does my family fit in my busy life? You know, some of you guys are saying, you're so much in the community. We see you here, da-da-da-da-da. And all right, so I wrote down my answers because I want this to be short and sweet, but I don't want to miss anything that's important to me. Because I know me, I'm a talker. So once I get onto something, I'll just run with it. For this one, I really want to read my questions, my answers to you. And I want to say thank you for asking. It really means a lot to me because it's a great question. And I don't like the word busy because busy don't equal effectiveness or impact, right? So when somebody say, I'm busy, no, we make time for what matters and we make time for the people that we love and care about. So I'm really glad that you're asking this question. So let's dig right in. And again, if you have not subscribed yet or turn on that notification button, you better press that notification button because I do want you to be getting the alerts as my podcast comes up each week. So again, thank you for tuning in wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you. All right. So getting right into it, someone asked, how do you balance career, your goals, and family? It is a great question. And before I even read what I wrote, I would say that sometimes you just don't balance it. It is not something that just goes so smooth. And even if I'm balancing it now, it's because over time, I've created a strategy. I've created some understanding with my family. I narrow into certain things. I let go of certain things and get that sense of balance. So it is something that you evolve in over time, if that makes sense. So let me read what I wrote to you. It isn't about giving equal time to everything. And what did I mean by saying that? Is I can't say, because I spend 5 hours in community, I should give my family 5 hours today because I gave 5 hours. Because it's about quality, not quantity. It's really about quality. So as long as I'm spending quality to my time, my family, and let's be realistic, the work in the community takes a lot more than me coming home and working with my family who already understand. They understand me. In the community, some people probably don't even know what I like, right? They're getting to know me. There's conflicts. I don't know the people out there either. I don't know how they receive feedback. I don't know what they like or don't like. So it is hard to work out there. So you can't, for one, you cannot do the calculation. Forget about the calculator. Okay. The next point I wrote about is it's about giving the right time to the right thing. And my family knows that. And because they're on board with what I do and they are bought in to the vision, it makes it easier, right? So priority, setting boundaries, and being intentional have been 3 key things that works for me. I'm very intentional. I don't just show up at an event just because there's an event and I just want to say I was there. When I'm there, I want to make sure I'm present and I can enjoy it, right? But not just to be there to say I was there. Boundaries is the same thing. I can't go to that event tonight. And boundaries cannot be with guilt. So make sure you communicate. So maybe you need to tell somebody you can't be there. Hey, I'm so sorry. I can't be there. I can buy a ticket to support. I send someone, but I can't be there. Right. So those are the things that makes for me balancing running a business, my family, my community engagement. It's what makes it possible. It's not just something you do. You really have to be intentional about it. And when I received the King Charles III medal, it reminded me that the work I do in community is meaningful. And I always say to people, let's not lie to ourselves and say we don't want to be recognized, but make sure you're not doing it to be recognized. But everybody should appreciate recognition. How I grew up in Jamaica, we shy away from recognition. We shy away from praise. We shy away from compliments because we grew up with the misunderstanding or the misconception that being recognized is boastful and you're not being humble, and a misunderstanding of the scripture that self-praise is no recommendation and all those things. But I grew up to understand as I flourish in my faith that I boast in the Lord. I boast in the ability and the gifts that He gave me to serve and to be impactful. I boast in being my grandfather's and my grandmother's daughter, who I have been able to pass on their legacy of what it is to be community. So it did make me realize that the work that you do is meaningful, but also within my own home. I've always said, as the president for the Aurora Black Community Association, I've always said to everyone that volunteers or want to come on the board, if your home is not happy, healthy, don't volunteer. Or if you volunteer, let me know what your struggles are so we can be intentional when we're asking you to do things. We can be mindful. So it is important that my home and the work that I'm doing in my home is impactful. So whether I'm sending my children scriptures or words of encouragement, or saying, where are you? Or have you eaten? Or come for my hug? Or tell me about school. And don't just say, yes, it's okay. It was a good day. Tell me what was good. That's me making sure that my work here is meaningful. When I let my husband know, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for dinner. Thank you for rubbing my feet. Thank you for liberating me to do what I do. It's me making sure that my home is okay. When I make sure that he's getting enough love making and he's getting companionship, that is all about it. My family should not be starving while I'm serving community, because that means I'm doing it for recognition. So I will leave that one there and jump on to the other question. But that was a beautiful question. Thank you so much for it. The next question says, what should I do when my family doesn't support my ambition? I'm a restaurant owner. My wife doesn't support me. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Actually, that's, I sense a bit of vulnerability there. So thank you. It doesn't matter if you're married or not, been with someone for 50 years or not. It doesn't mean that they will understand your vision. It just doesn't. But it's tough when they don't, because it makes you feel like you need to choose. Choose between the person I love and the thing I love, the person I love and the thing I enjoy doing. So it is a big question, and it's a hard question for me to answer. First, let me go back and say, I'm sorry that that's your experience, because nothing is more beautiful than working together. As the owner of 3 different businesses, the most recent one, just to see how my husband is in there knocking things down, helping me to grab the laundry, making sure there's water, going to check that the lights are off, bringing me lunch when I'm there. He's invested in it because he also loves me. So sometimes I think you don't have to love the person's vision or what they're doing or even understand it, But if you love that person and you value that person and what makes that person happy makes you happy, or seeing that person happy makes you happy, then it's easy to come in alignment, or it's easier to come in alignment. Now, I told you that when I'm talking, I just talk. So let me stick to what I write. Let me see what I wrote for that. Oh, I love this. I wrote that your purpose is not up for a vote. And how this came into being is we were talking lately about, running for election, people voting, and if you don't vote, you don't have a say kind of thing. Our purpose is not up for a vote. It's okay to have a discussion around it. It's okay to talk about how we're going to prioritize things and set the boundaries and be intentional to make sure it's not doing it. Don't take away from your purpose at home, but it's not up for voting. You have to know what that means to you. You have to know your why and why you want to do that. And nobody on earth should be able to take that away from you. The last point I have here, and it is a quote from my late Maya Angelou. She said, pursue the things that you love doing and do them so well that people can't take their eyes off you. That should include your family and yourself. When people see your consistency and your passion, even people that are doubting you start to come on board and have to give you the respect that is due. Even if that's not what you're doing it for, right? But respect the path that you want to take. Be sold out for it. And just like how you want to be able to convince others to either use your business, use your service, you have to be able to sell that to your family as well, right? And see if they can come on board. But just ensure that there's no voting and it's either you or me, it or me. Then you're probably with the wrong person. That's my view on that one. The other question was, so there are 3 more questions to go. How do I set boundaries without guilt? Wow, I didn't even remember that there's a question of this, because we talk about this so many times already in the podcast that I've just done before and in this one. Boundaries there can be flexibility with boundaries, right? It's not this, it's not this unmovable wall, but it's about self-respect, understanding your values, and make sure that you're not a walkover. That's at least some of the things that I consider when I talk about boundaries. It's about respecting my self-care and my space. So how do you set boundaries without feeling guilty? Is making sure that your motive for those boundaries are authentic and that they're good. Because if they're good, you shouldn't have to feel guilty. And that's where I would leave that one, right? That's where I would leave that one. It's a sacrifice, to be honest. It is a sacrifice to set boundaries because you upset people. And it's okay. If you know that these are my must-have for my life to flourish, and I have to respect myself, then it's what it is. The next question says, you talk about self-care a lot. Is self-care selfish when my family needs me? The simple answer to that is absolutely not. I won't even bother to look to see what I wrote down, because absolutely not. Absolutely not. It goes back to the question that we just answered before. What are those boundaries? It's not that you're saying no to your family. You're saying not now. I remember my big son when he was small, and we would go to the store and he would say, "Mom, can I have this?" And I said, "Not today." I never told him no. I always want to leave him with hope. Not today, baby. So not today, meaning I might have it tomorrow, right? So setting the space for my self-care, meaning I want to do this now and my children or my husband needs me, I can say, "Can you please give me 10 minutes? I'll do that in an hour." And that's you teaching people how to respect your space and your time. It doesn't matter who it is. And the final question, it says, how do I reconnect with family when life has pulled us apart? So I'm not sure which family this is. I'm assuming maybe the person's talking about an extended family. Boundaries, intentionality. It seems like these are the key words that are going that are very the common denomination for all of these questions. Boundaries and keywords. We get pulled apart because everybody's in their own zone, being busy, and so I find that depends on who the family are and that you're talking about and where they what position they're in your life. I'll engage. That means if you're asking this question, that family is also asking the same question. So therefore, there should be some kind of, hey guys, I know we've been not connecting. Let's have dinner. Right? I'm not a texter. I don't want anybody to text me. I don't text. Don't text me at all. Don't text me. I just don't, because it's a part of my boundary and self-care. Call me. I miss hearing people's voices. So call me. If you can't talk, don't talk, but call me when you can. Relationship is important. So we just have to really respect where people are, be patient with people, do small gathering and don't make a big deal out of it. The toughest part for me when I came to Canada was connecting with people. It was so hard because I knew what a calendar was. I've used a calendar, but coming from Jamaica, there was never any such thing that I've ever heard where when I call a friend and say, let's do something. And they're like, let me look at my calendar. Let's do lunch next week, Saturday at 1. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive. Right. So it was a culture shock for me to not be able to just walk to someone's house. People get mad and you need to make an appointment or say, I'm coming over or can I come over? So there was such isolation in connecting. We go from work, we work 3 jobs, we drive in our garage and you don't even know your neighbor. So I would say just do small things. Don't sweat it either. You know what I mean? If it's just not happening, it's just not happening. Don't sweat it. When you can, you make time for it. But I think the simple thing is, we do make time for the people that we care about. And again, your question is, how do we reconnect? Sometimes I have friends that I haven't spoken to for like 6 months, a year. But because it's authentic and we are mature, we know that when we get on the phone or we're getting person, it's as if we never miss a beat. So it's never too late to rebuild those relationships that are meant to be. And if both parties are willing to reconnect, be genuine, and not guilting the next person. Well, I was the one who did it last week, or I called you. Like, those are childish behaviors. So I would just leave that with you to say, balance, passion, community, life is not a walk in the park, but it's a lifestyle. It's habits. It's little things that you do consistently that becomes a part of your lifestyle. And so when I show up and people will say, Fiona, you're everywhere. Aren't you tired? It's because I have my boundaries and I set my time, and I know when you don't see me and when you call and you don't get me, you just don't call and don't get me. And I do apologize for that. I really don't. I don't. If you come to my home and it's not clean for you, I never say, oh, sorry, my house is messy today, or sorry, my car is messy. If you're real, then you're going to show up for me as how I am. Because when it's clean, right? So there's a lot of things we do that is a show for people, but we won't do it for ourselves. So I always say to my kids, when you clean your space, it's for you. Don't do it because somebody's coming. Maybe, yes, certain circumstances you might need to do that. But overall, what I do need to be an influence for myself first. And so when I balance myself with my work, my community, my giving, it's something that feeds my soul. So I attach myself to things that comes natural for me, or that I'm passionate about, that I think about in my sleep and when I'm awake. Therefore, even when I'm tired, the passion that I have for the things that I love also fuel my body to be engaged. But I know when to shut down. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for these questions. They were truly amazing. I just want to let you know that community is important, and community can be a hard place to be in. A lot of negativity, And a lot of people think they have to be on a side. And if they don't agree with somebody, that means they disagree with the other one. You know, it's about love. And I think that once we show up for ourselves or in our family and our community with love, the rest is history. All right. So, guys, thank you so much. Just like that, another episode of A Little of This and A Little of That is a wrap. Thank you for tuning in. And again, don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, comment. And thank you for these questions. I absolutely love it. It feels like a warm fireside chat. So thank you, love you, appreciate you. Peace out.